Welcome to our final video, Rides in Legoland Park. I would point out that this occurred at the very end of the Legoland season, and we didn't go on every ride and not every ride was open. The Haunted House was an old classic walkthrough with mirrors and scenarios and sounds. It was also near Halloween, so the park had been dressed up with pumpkins and ghosts. But when you look at these things, they are all just made of Lego. It's quite amazing the detail that can be had just using Lego. So I couldn't film inside the Haunted House, but this Lego gives you an idea of how it's worked on a couple of scales, with cellars and eerie sounds and cobwebs, and yes, it's interesting. Remember, it's made for little kids, so it's not horrifyingly scary, but it's just enough at times to give you a start. So yeah, no, it was really good. And that's something to remember about all the rides. They are meant for little children, except for one, which I'll show you that my 37-year-old was very happy to ride on. The Viking River Splash Ride, classic flume ride. You go around in this circular vehicle, but as with all of these ones, you should try to avoid being in front, because you come down the slide and the front person's the one that usually gets very wet. As you can see, the young guy did get a bit of a dousing on this one, but because they're circular and don't have a keel, it's whoever's sitting there, it's just the luck of the spin as you go into the ride, so they're uncontrolled in that respect. The Pirate Boat Ride really is sort of like one of the old Disney boat rides with scenarios as you go around, all made from Lego. A lot of them were animated, and which is an achievement, bearing in mind that Lego is not really a bendable type building brick. The shark followed you around to start with. But yeah, even this giant fort, all just made of Lego. It's quite incredible what they've done.
Meerkats love it. Everyone loves meerkats, don't they? Funny how they become popular. Wow. They really should clean the cold.
The canoe ride was a pleasurable ride. Once again, looking at all the various animals that have been made from the Lego made it a bit special. And of course, the flume ride at the end is what sort of caps it off as the thrill. Once again, for small children, it's a very good ride. My son used his slow motion to capture just how effective the big splash is at the end. And I didn't get wet. This was the ride that I was alluding to for the teenagers to adult level. This particular area, you enter your details and how you want to be trained, whether it's for a smooth flight, rough, whatever. And it really does have an effect, but you've got to know really what the outcomes are. But I was more fascinated by the industrial size robotic arms that are attached to these seats, which take two people, and the twisting and turning, and you can see my son in the background there. I don't know if he knew what to expect, but I don't think I could have coped with it. It was a bit too much for me, but anyhow, I'll let you watch and you can decide whether you would go on such a ride or not. Penguins were a bit of a surprise. And yeah, fascinating. I love watching, even when we go to zoos in Australia, the antics of the fairy penguins. But yeah, just in the middle of the park, and yeah, there's this big aquarium with penguins shooting about. Great for the kids, great for the adults too. Now this was an innovative ride. It's all man, woman, child powered. It goes by the pumping action, but it was a team race against about six or seven, I'm not sure now, fire engines. So you had to pump your way down to the end, then hop out, and then someone had to pump the hydrant whilst another person aimed the hose, the water at the burning window. And once you've pumped enough water through the hole, the window closes because the fire's been put out, and then you have to race back. Takes a bit of energy. I don't think I'd be wanting to do it at my age, pumping away for that, but all these young spirited family people, kids are going there. Some people took it very serious, some not so. But yeah, a great bit of family teamwork. And I think the kids just loved it.
Little kids. Cool.
Pirate Splash Battle Ride is very much an interactive ride, in as much that the people from the spectator side could interact by squirting you through these water guns. Now that's all right if you can fight back, but in this case they were very good, the spectators, and the people on the boat just didn't have the firepower, and the lady got very wet and the kids sort of hid from the water. So the only good thing about this ride, they have these vacuum type blowers at the end of the ride where you could dry out. Some benefit. The Lego mini boats, my son went for a cruise around the mini boat ride. I didn't go because I couldn't fit in them. The temple ride involves getting in a vehicle and going through a maze of scenarios where you have to shoot at treasure, baddies, lumps of rock, whatever. And if you hit it with the laser, you get a point. Bit of fun. The only thing is, 2,400 for Dad, and of course, Kent, 11,700. The other thing, because we're at the end of the season, none of the big restaurants or anything were open, and so it's pretty limited sort of food. The Lego chips, yeah, something different, and yeah, nice and crispy, but you couldn't sit down for a 3-course meal anywhere, which was a bit disappointing, but that's life. We did eat out in Billund a couple of times. There's a nice sort of 15-20 minute stroll between Legoland and Billund through parklands, and the pizzas were nice, and the chips crunchy, and the parma, yeah, well, it was delightful, but a very big parma. The ice creams, Ben and Jerry's though, you can't go past them. They were lovely. In Billund itself is Lego House, which is really for the serious Lego people. It's not so much a toy area, it's where the serious people go and learn how to build and create Lego items. We were there of an evening, so we could only climb up to the top and have a look around, but you had to make appointments for the various internal things that you could do. If you're a serious Lego person, yes, book in. And these are just some of the bits and pieces that were left over from the last 2 movies that I didn't incorporate, bearing in mind that this is all created from Lego. It's quite a fantastic sort of thought when you see the designs and the size of the designs that they've been able to achieve. So that's basically all I've got to say. The hotel room, very nice, very bright, very Danish, and the reception wall covered in thousands and thousands of mini people, and yeah, you could just about find anything you wanted to there. So we'll leave it for now. I hope you've enjoyed our tour of Legoland, and if you feel inspired to go and visit and enjoy it as much as we did, and we hope that you'll enjoy it too. Catch you around. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. See you later. Bye.